Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at the latest manual grinder from 1ZPRESSO, the J-Max, which is here to replace their JE Plus model. Our friends from 1ZPRESSO were kind enough to send their new grinder for a test, review and giveaway to one lucky viewer. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back and join us if you want to find out more about this grinder and how to win it. Before we get into the review of this product, we would highly appreciate it if you did all the good things with the buttons down below at any stage while watching this video. That would help us a lot on our road to 10,000 subscribers, and it would also help you become a better home barista. So let's get right into it. The J-Max is designed as a manual espresso grinder first. Don't worry, that doesn't mean it can't grind for other brewing methods. It costs $200 US, which is way cheaper than any electric espresso grinder I know of, so that got me extra curious, because if it can deliver the goods, it'll be extremely hard to argue against the value for money it provides. But we'll talk more about that a bit later. Let's have a look at what you're getting for 200 American freedom-loving buckaroos. First of all, you get a nice travel suitcase for your grinder, which contains a brush and a blower for easier cleaning, a rubber band for extra grip, and obviously the grinder itself. The first thing that popped in my head when I unboxed it was, wow, that's a chunky boy. This might be the biggest manual grinder I've ever used. Then I was like, damn, this feels very premium as well. The use of silicone, wood, stainless steel, and aluminium materials makes this grinder a joy to handle on a daily basis. The J-Max is 18 centimeters tall, weighs in at just below 790 grams, and has an 18 centimeter crank length, which provides more than enough leverage when grinding coffee. You can fit between 35 and 40 grams of coffee beans in the grinding chamber, more than enough for a dose of espresso or even a larger batch of pour-over. At the heart of the grinder, you'll find a 48mm titanium-coated burr designed to make grinding for espresso a breeze. The internals of the grinder are super smooth, the central shaft is very sturdy, and overall you can't hear any squeaking whatsoever. The J-Max features a top-mounted external grind adjustment mechanism with 420 clicks for adjustment. Each click makes an 8.8 microns adjustment, and just for reference, a micron is a thousandth of a millimeter. This grinder has the finest adjustment mechanism out of all 1ZPRESSO grinders, in case you wanted to know that. Basically, you can use this grinder to cover any brewing method you can think of, from Turkish coffee that requires superfine grounds to cold brew, which needs grinds on the other spectrum of the grinding range. For easy tracking of your grind setting, the top-mounted grind mechanism is labeled with numbers from 0 to 8, with each number representing 10 clicks, and to do a full rotation, you go from 0 to 8 and 0 again, which is 90 clicks. For example, let's say you want 200 clicks. You would have to do 2 full rotations plus 2 full numbers, which lands you on the number 2. That's very easy to track compared to most manual grinders, which require you to make mental notes of the clicks, and it's almost as easy as adjusting my Sete 270. To finish it off, you're getting a magnetic catch bin, so you don't need to bother screwing it in and out every time you're using the grinder, but it's still sturdy enough to not fall out while cranking hard. I've been using the J-Max as my daily driver for the past 2 weeks, so I want to share my experience grinding and brewing with it. Grinding for espresso is a breeze, and it's actually unbelievable to me that a hand grinder can do such a good job. Lately, I've been dosing 15.5 grams of coffee, which takes around 50 seconds to grind, and my espresso range varies between 110 and 140 clicks, depending on the beans I'm using. I'd highly recommend spraying some water on your beans before grinding to avoid static and retention. Espresso tastes delicious, very clean and sweet with pronounced acidity, but less body, which probably has something to do with the evenness of the ground coffee particles. Dialing in is not a problem at all, given the grind range and amount of adjustments, and to be honest, it's much easier to dial in a coffee on this grinder than any other grinder I've ever used, and this includes electric grinders as well. My experience with pour-overs is also great, despite the fact it's designed for espresso first. For a 12.5 gram pour-over dose, my range is between 210 and 230 clicks. But keep in mind, I do tend to use finer ground coffee for my pour-overs, due to the fact I'm doing a single pour technique. And if you want to check that out, leave a comment below and we might make a video about it. I used a sieve that separates fines, and at my pour-over grind range, I'm getting around 8% fines, which might have a lot to do with why I'm getting such clean and balanced cups of coffee. Compared to the Baratza Encore, which is my pour-over grinder on a daily basis, the J-Max outperforms it without a sweat. Now I want to show you how easy it is to clean this grinder. First, you need to remove the catch bin and crank handle. Then rotate the grinder adjusting dial 2 full turns. Press the bottom burr upwards while at the same time unscrewing the knurled thumb nut. Remove the upper bearing cap and bearing. Then remove the bottom burr and the central shaft together with the spring and lower bearing cap. Turn the top burr clockwise to unscrew. It has a reverse thread. Using the brush and blower that are provided, clean the burrs and assemble the parts in the opposite order. You might also want to calibrate your grinder for the finest setting to be at 0, which will make it easier to track the grind settings when using the grinder. All you need to do is rotate the dial to 0 before you start assembling the grinder, and the rest is a walk in the park. As you saw so far, you might be able to tell that I'm a huge fan of this grinder. There is a lot I like about it, but there are two things that I think could be improved. Number one, the plastic lid attached to the crank handle is made of some sort of plastic material, and unlike the rest of the grinder, which feels premium, the plastic lid looks cheap and also gets dirty with fingerprints every time you touch it. Number two, the J-Max body itself is pretty thick, making it a bit difficult to handle for people with small hands. The rubber band that comes with it might help with the grip issue, but I have to say it looks much better without it. In my opinion, this grinder is made for everyone that would like a Comandante but don't like to pay $300 for it. It's also for those of you out there who'd like a great grinder that covers all of the brewing methods you can think of, but don't mind doing some exercise every time you make a coffee. So there you have it. This was our review of the 1ZPRESSO J-Max manual espresso grinder. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this grinder. Do you like what you see? Do you think it's good value for money? What else can you get for $200 that might come close to it? As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And now, let me tell you how you can win this grinder. I made a post about the J-Max on our Instagram, @TMBean channel. In that post, you'll find all the details about how to enter the giveaway, and to make life easier, I'll put the link to that post in the description of this video. So go ahead, check it out, and good luck to everyone that enters this international giveaway. I also hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you let us know by clicking the thumbs up button. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.